The head of U.S. Overseas Private Investment Cooperation in Africa, Subha Nagarajan, says the agency is focusing more on countries outside South Africa as its sub-Saharan Africa total investment portfolio tops $5 billion. The head of OPIC, based in Ivory Coast, says she sees more investments in Africa across sectors that will fast-track sustainable energy and in particular renewables. Ms. Nagarajan was speaking with Channel's business news editor Bosun Omofaye in Abidjan at the two-day West African Regional Energy Cooperation Summit.
Super, it's good to have you.
Thank you for having me on.
OPIC is really big around the world and in Africa, but specifically to West Africa. What are your investment pipeline as far as power is concerned, or energy?
So for the audience who may or may not know us, we are the U.S. government's development finance institution. We have a $21.5 billion portfolio invested in emerging markets throughout the world. In Africa, our portfolio is about $5 billion, so it's a little. We're trying to grow it to at least a quarter, if not a third, of our actual operations. And in order to do that and support that, we've recently established new offices in the region. So I am based in Abidjan, covering West and Central Africa. We have representation in Nairobi, covering East Africa, and in Johannesburg, covering Southern Africa. And as far as our priorities, or what we're looking to do here specifically in West Africa, is really to make sure that there's a more balanced approach to our investment, I would say, pipeline and portfolio in the region. Thus far, I think there's been a lot more focus on East and Southern Africa just because of the investment climates, which have enabled American companies in particular to feel more comfortable exploring. But many of those companies and clients of ours have expressed an interest to come to West Africa. So by being here on the ground, we're hoping to be able to make the right introductions to local partners and build more of a portfolio. As far as sectors, we're very focused on infrastructure, so we invest a lot in energy. Of recent, we just helped close the Amandi power project in Ghana, which is, again, only the third IPP to close in Ghana. In spite of what, I think a lot of people would recognize as a challenging energy sector environment, we were able to get and lead the financing of that project. So energy is a priority of ours. Roads, rail, agriculture, health and education. There really is very little that we're not interested in supporting.
With a change of administration in Washington, what's the outlook for OPIC investments in Africa moving forward?
One of the things we like to say that we really try and promote is foreign commercial diplomacy. And so as much as we're here to try and promote and mobilize U.S. capital abroad, it really is in terms of helping and making sure that not only are we growing U.S. businesses and their footprint abroad, we're creating jobs back home, and at the same time investing in emerging and developing economies to help their job creation. So really it's a win-win. And, to the extent that we continue and are able to not only, spread the positive message about building businesses to strengthen democracy, we're really talking about, growing our own markets at home.
Thank you very much, and hope you enjoy the conference.